Hey guys, Patrick Gray, the MLM Marketing Pro. It's a plum please and pleasure and a privilege to be with you guys today. Today, guys, I want you to make sure, first of all, you like, comment, share as you come in. If you're watching this on replay, make sure you put replay. And again, I want to know if you guys can hear me okay. But I've got a special guest with me today. I got Adrian Diva on a Dime during Disaster Kennedy.
D3, D3, D3.
D3. My bad.
No,
Yeah,
D5.
guys. I just want to talk to you because, guys, as you all know, well, some of you know, you don't know why I'm Patrick Graham, the MLM Marketing Pro, guys. I've been in the industry for well over 20 some odd years, and I've made multiple six figures in a couple industries, real estate being one of them, um, trucking being another. But what I decided this year, I threw down the gauntlet and I said, this is going to be the year that I do six figures in network marketing. For those of you who have been following me, you have taken on the how can I put it? Taken on the responsibility to be my accountability partner. So thank you all for coming on this journey with me. But what my primary MLM is a financial services company, and this is one of my business partners who specializes in a couple things, especially during disasters. Her name is Adrian, again, Diva on the Dime during disaster Kennedy. She said 3D. But I wanted to bring her on here just to talk about a few things that are happening because obviously with Corona, we're in a disaster. But there's another season coming up for you guys who live on the coast. You know that this is hurricane season. So before I do that, I just got to give my numbers for the day. And I told you every day I would bring value for you guys. And this young lady is going to bring some serious value. So today, guys, 52 calls, 4 appointments, no signups. But I got to that 50 level. Remember, I wanted to be 50, between 50 and 100 calls. So tomorrow, we're going to go to 60. I'm going to get this thing up to 100 calls. So thank you all for your support. Now, I'm going to get out of the way, and I'm going to let this young lady bring some value for you guys who are in the hurricane alley or whatever you call it. And also, maybe she can help you even with some things regarding Corona. Miss Adrian Triple D Kennedy.
Whoa! Thinking of a master plan. Ain't nothing but sweat inside our hands.
Oh, okay. We're not going to quit our career for rap.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me.
Mhm.
It is an honor and a pleasure to be in the midst
Okay.
of the guru of network
Oh,
marketing, Mr. Patrick Gray.
well, you are also an expert in your field, and we are going to glean. I'm actually going to grab my notebook. Go ahead, do it.
Please do. I just wanted to bring up a couple of things. First of all, my name is Adrian Kennedy. I'm also known as Diva on a Dime during disaster. And that is because I have been through a lot of disasters and I still seem to have my diva personality. And I also seem to have a few dimes at the end. So, I just wanted to bring a little bit of information, some insight to disasters, and especially if you're living on the East Coast. I'm also a national weather ambassador. So, information about weather comes to me firsthand. Most likely, it will come to me 3 days before you all see it on TV. This year, there are about 19 storms and more than half of those are named. And whenever they are named, that means that they are due to make landfall. I live in North Carolina. We're expected to see 9 storms ranging from tropical to hurricane category 4. I I have to tell you this too. There's more than one type of disaster. Okay, there's a natural disaster, which we do what we do to Mother Nature, and then she gives us, our reward back in the form of tornadoes, hurricanes, tsunamis, and things of that nature when we mess up the environment and the earth. And then there's a man made disaster. People don't think about that. My stepfather, his train was the last train to leave um, the twin towers. He worked there at a Spanish television show, and they actually sent him home early. Had he not made it home early, his train he would have not made it home at all.
Wow.
um, and that was a disaster, considered a man-made disaster. Okay, so then fast forward, Hurricane Sandy comes around, and I made some phone calls to my mom. I was telling her, listen, this storm, we live on a barrier island from Long Island, New York, Long Beach. Woohoo. And she said, we're going to stick it out. I don't know if any of you know about barrier islands, but when the phrase comes, bay meets the beach, that means that you're on an island and those waters are going to meet and could possibly cover the island. Long Beach is about 3 miles long, so I live 4 blocks from the bay, 7 blocks from the beach.
Okay, Long Beach. You're talking not Long Beach, California. You're talking about
Long
New
Beach,
York.
New York, baby, not Long Beach,
Oh,
California. That's
my
right.
bad.
That's
Okay.
right. Home of Billy Crystal, Derek Jeter, and what? The Gottis.
Okay. Okay.
And Public Enemy too.
Public
Check it.
Enemy. Okay. Okay.
So that's what happened. The bay met the beach. And I called my uncle who was in the Air Force, and I said, I need to get to my mom. I need to get to my mom. He said, well, you get to Delaware, I'll get you to Long Island. And we saw on the news where they were not letting anyone in or off the island because the train was down. The buses obviously were down. Anything coming in was just through ship. So didn't hear from my mom for about 7 or 10 days. And when I finally got in touch with her, she said that they were all right and they were coming home. They came home to Lumberton, North Carolina, Robeson County, and she started telling me all of this information about the storm, what the sand dunes. We had about 3 feet of water in our house, and if you know anything about houses in the north, there's a full 8 foot basement, right? And then on top of that, second floor is main living. Then there's sometimes a third floor. So we were on second floor, so our basement was full of water, and then the second floor had 3 feet. And she was just telling me all the processes and who was involved in FEMA and the Coast Guard, and as if, she knew that I was going to be coming into something else. And then 2 months later, after the conversation, she died of mold, excessive mold in her lungs.
Okay. So you're giving us, I'm sorry, I'll interrupt you. You're giving us the story of how you became, oh, okay. Got you.
Deep, yeah.
Okay. Okay.
And then 2 years later, Hurricane Matthew hit my county, Robeson County, and everything that my mom told me came true.
Okay.
And then 2 years later, a year and a half later, Hurricane Florence came. That was
Okay.
2017, 2018, 18. So what did I learn? I was a business owner at the time of Hurricane Matthew.
Mhm.
And so for all of you business owners out there, take very good notes and take disaster very seriously because it could change your life and your lifestyle forever. I lost a business, I lost a homeschool, and I thought that because I had my home paid off, I didn't need to have homeowners insurance. But I didn't also know the geography of where I lived. We lived in low land, and so I got flooded out. My home was in floodway. You're either in floodway, flood path, or flood zone.
Okay.
And my
So
home was in all three.
stop right there. So is that something specific to the North Carolina area, or you're saying those
That's
are the designations for flood areas across the country?
flood areas across the country. Like Louisiana is just considered a fishbowl. New Orleans is considered a fishbowl.
Okay,
Because they're in flood, they're just going to be prone to flood
sure,
because of their topography.
sure.
So
Okay,
know that information about where you live, and how do you do that? You can call a insurance company and ask them for a registered insurance adjuster that deals with FEMA and the National Flood Insurance Program,
okay,
and they will help you get discounted rates for flood insurance, because a lot of homeowners insurance policies don't carry flood.
sure.
They carry wind and rain, not flood. And that is a specific policy term.
Okay. I hate to interrupt you, so I want to clarify for my guests. So if you're in one of those areas and you're a new homeowner, if you aren't
Sure.
told, because again, I used to be a loan officer, so I understand what you're saying.
Good deal.
And where I was at, we didn't have to worry about that. I was in the Midwest. So, but you're saying in these specific areas, you better have a specific policy for that flood, for
Hmm.
flood insurance. So
Hmm.
if you're in a flood, then it's going to protect your valuables and your home, or is it just a percentage?
It will be a percentage because, as you know, adjusters do come out and they look at deferred maintenance. They also look at the time that you've had your furniture or your refrigerator and those things.
Okay.
But it helps offset what FEMA does. FEMA is not the tell all end all. They come for immediate relief, and a lot of people think that FEMA is supposed to, what we call in disaster world, make you whole again. It
Mm-hmm.
does not.
It's not.
And so you want to have those things lined up: insurance, the assistance of FEMA, and you also want to definitely look at your credit score, because they will ask you to apply for an SBA loan for a larger amount that FEMA is not going to give. FEMA only gives about $33,000 at max. That's the max that they're going to give. Okay.
You're you're saying, and I hate to keep interrupting you. You're saying for any disaster.
For any
If
disaster.
okay,
So
you're,
if
you're
your
okay.
mobile home or your house was totally destroyed, and a FEMA inspector comes out there based upon what they see, pictures, it's good to have pictures before a flood. Just put it in a portfolio with your deed to your home or your mortgage payments, your insurance information. You want a disaster Bible, and you want to put that information in a gallon size Ziploc bag, because on a spur of the moment, if you forget it and rain happens to come through a window, a door, or a roof, when you do go back to your home, you know that that information is there and hopefully is safe in a closet somewhere. But a Ziploc bag of that size could help out.
Okay. Let me stop right there.
Mhm.
Any of my guests on the call right now, on the webinar, on the live, are any of you in these areas, and do you have any questions specific to what you should be doing now? Because again, we're in a financial services company. So what our main goal is to prepare you. Because understand this, during this coronavirus, if you weren't prepared, guess what? There are people that haven't worked in months. If you didn't have your nest egg set aside, because you should always have bare minimum, you should start with $1,000 savings, but you should have 6 months of savings set aside and that 6 months should be able to cover your bills for 6 straight months. So these are some of the things that we should be being prepared for. But
Mhm.
my guest here is a disaster specialist. She's telling you she was caught and didn't have the wasn't prepared like that, right?
I didn't have it. I did have an excess of $1,000 in my bank account,
Mm.
and I thank God for the financial service that I have now, because I'm learning that it's not about just having that money in the bank, especially for that long time. I thought I was doing a good job at saving,
Mhm.
but that money went quick because I had to pay for a hotel. I had to pay 3 meals a day for four people that I'm manager of.
Mhm.
And so that money went very fast. And so the segue to what you're saying on the preparation side is, yeah, it is best that you have $1,000, but it's also better if you learn some financial tools. We call them debt tools, to learn how to not get back into debt. Mind you, before the storm,
Mhm,
my credit was like 640,
mhm.
and today, still, Matthew 2016, it was a 640, and today I think it's like 520 or 530.
Okay.
And that's because of the debt that I had to incur from not being prepared enough um, during a disaster. It swipes you out, and the government does not pay attention to that. The government is not considering that you're going to not pay your bills for 90 to 120 days. They're not taking in consideration of the food. FEMA will give you benefits, food benefits. They'll give you stipend money. The government, the local government will help you, but you got to keep in mind that disaster for all 50 states, okay, runs in threes. So every 3 months we move into another phase.
Mhm.
So right now, during COVID-19, we're ending our first 3 months, and now we're going to be going into the next 3 months. So all the benefits that were available to us now, if you haven't taken advantage of them, take advantage of them. The SBA is your friend today.
Yes, yes, they are. Yes, they are.
Is
Can
your
I
friend.
add this? If you got a side hustle, if you got anything that means you don't get paid W-2, you need to apply for those SBA loans, because whether
Yeah.
you know it or not, and some people are saying, well, I don't want no loan. Listen to what I'm saying. Some of those loans are forgivable if you do the right thing with them. And understand this money is being released so that you, as a business owner, whether you lift, you deliver food, any of
Right.
those 1099, those side hustles, even if you don't have a structured business, which we both do, but even if you don't have a structured business, if you do any of those things, you are eligible to a certain degree for that money. So take advantage to what's out there, because even though we're supposed to be coming out of this, guys, we don't know what the new normal is going to be. You don't know.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry, I didn't want to interrupt you. And
It's
then,
okay. And we won't be coming out of it. Does every disaster that's declared is for 2 years.
mhm,
So we will be in a new normal for the next 2 years, and then inside of hurricane season coming up, we don't know what's here for us. But if anyone out there wants to know of any information, North Carolina happens to have a plethora of legal attorneys, that nonprofits that are willing to help with 1099s, W-2s, small business owners. They have that information for free. But when in doubt, wherever you are, call 211. Call 211. That's United Way's info line. They'll ask you for your zip code. You tell them your zip code and you tell them what you're looking for, and they will give you the resources that are available to in your neighborhood, your community. So, and sometimes they have organizations that no one knows about, that sits on the 211 record, that if you can't tap into a SBA loan, there might be a bank, there might be a community development corporation in your neighborhood that actually has money sitting there that they're willing to give out as well.
mm,
So that you need pen and paper. It deserves that for disaster. I remember doing Matthew, we were stuck and we didn't have any gas, we didn't have any food. And then we thought we were brave enough to go out and rescue people. I had never seen a water moccasin in my life. And that particular day I saw more than one, just trying to rescue elderly people. And that gave me the shock of my life, that I did not have a plan for myself or my two little boys. And then I didn't have a plan for the people that I thought I was going out there to help to rescue, because could have gotten them hurt, wading them through 4 feet of water and not even knowing, what's in that water, thinking I was taking them to high places. So it would definitely behoove anyone in my listening ear to have a plan for your small business. If you don't have a business, now is the time to get a home based business and take advantage of that, because when the cycle for taxes come up, I don't know if you notice it, and that's why it's good for you to have a CPA or an accountant, not just a H&R Block, because they have a paper line item on there during every disaster. Did you live in a federally disaster claim area? And when you put yes down, you can get from an extra $1,000 to $5,000 on your tax refund.
Word?
Mhm.
Mm, okay. That right there, guys, is worth you attend you watch this live. $1,000 to $5,000. I'm sorry. Go ahead, girl.
Yeah,
Spit that
you'll
out.
get that.
Spit that out.
But sometimes people that do H&R Block, because they're not used to seeing that line, they're just doing the regular what is it, the regular 1040s.
Mhm.
If they miss that line, and so you will miss that money. But I've gotten it both years. I've gotten it both years. So yeah, you have to put down what you're going to do. And I wanted to go back to a home-based business. Those taxes, those things that we take advantage of, this 40/40, we work 40 and we get a 40-hour check. Having a home-based business during disaster is beneficial. Some people don't think it is. Well, FEMA will come to your house and they will ask you, what part of your house did you use for business? And they'll take that portion, and they won't use that portion to give you money to repair, but they will put that information in the system, and then you're automatically in the system for SBA loan. During disaster, the credit score for SBA is like 510, 520.
What?
Yeah, it's really low. It's really
Okay.
low. And that's because SBA is just a catchment. They just want to know how many people in that area. It's like a census. They just want to know how many people in that area have a business, and how many people in that area, how many people have applied with this amount of credit. It's just a catchment. And so the incentive is, hey, apply. And if your credit is bad, they then they're borrowing money from the federal government themselves and saying, we got one, let's give them money. But it is designed for the low credit person. They're not trying to catch you. They're not trying to, see what you have or what you don't have. They really want to know the levels in any neighborhood or community, city or state. And that's what they use their numbers for.
Okay. So ultimately, this is going a little longer than what I anticipated. We're definitely going to have you back. Ultimately, during disaster, what should we be doing? I mean, just a quick summation, a minute or two. What should we be doing to make sure that we can take advantage of everything that's out there? Because the one thing the Bible says our people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge.
Hmm.
And the knowledge you have for disaster is insane. So right now, even in COVID, even if you're on the coast, either coast where there's hurricanes, what what would you say is the most important couple things that people should know in the next 1 or 2 minutes?
The government is shrinking. They don't have money.
Whoa.
So we won't be always dependent upon food, food that they give us, food stamps and stimulus checks and things like that. FEMA has not been around that long, and yet they're um, billions and billions in a deficit, and they're trying to figure out how can states take on this burden themselves. So the best thing that I would say to do is have a home-based business, and I'd say keep a record and pictures of everything in your home. Structured home-based business. Home-based business. Um, you would definitely need to contact the Red Cross and your local emergency management center and let them put you on whatever system they have that lets you know when to evacuate. Now, depending on where you live, Red Cross has already decided that they will pay. You can go on Google Maps and look it up yourself. They've already decided where they're going to pay for hotels for people during disaster.
What?
Yep, they've already decided because they're not doing shelter. They won't do shelters because of COVID. So you go on Google Maps, you look at a hotel. If it has COVID responder, that means that Red Cross has paid for rooms designated for people with the virus. So if you have to evacuate, the least you can do is know where you want to go and where you don't want to go in terms of exposure. Okay. And that's for anyone who if you're in the Midwest, same thing for tornadoes or whatever, hurricane season or whatever. Know where you're gonna go and let the Red Cross know where you're gonna go. Because we can't contact Red Cross and say, "Hey, is Patrick safe?" They're just gonna say, "We'll give Patrick the information." But if Patrick doesn't have my name on there, Patrick, they won't give Patrick the information. It's a HIPAA, it's a confidentiality rule. So you want your family to know where you are. The only way that we could tell people where they were during Matthew was Facebook. And that was 3 days after the towers came back up. And everybody, where's my mama? Have you seen my mama? I was lucky enough that I went knocking on all the doors and I wrote down on my church calendar, gone, not here, hospital, somebody picked them up, shelter. And that's how we were communicating. That's frustrating. Let Red Cross know where you are. Let your emergency management know your address so that you can get information sent to you about when to evacuate and where to go and what's available. Keep 211 in your pocket. If you have babies, make sure you have water and diapers stored. It's just like if you was going to the hospital and having a baby, pack a bag. Pack a bag. Make sure your pharmacy knows all of your medicines. And on that's the community side. On the economic side, I don't care what it is. Start a home-based business. You will leverage better if you have a home-based business structured a year from now. You'll thank me a year from now. I did it. I started 3 businesses already during COVID because I know what's going to happen. I've seen the bounce back better for families and for my family. I've seen the bounce back better than if I was just a regular W-2 earner.
Okay. So those are our tips for what we should be doing. Well, guys, I know this is a little different live, but again, this is one of my business partners. She saw the value of what we do with our financial services, guys, and we do 4 things. We help people, W-2 employees, in the next 30 days. We can show you how to increase your take-home pay within $300 to $1,000. Secondly, we can show you how to get your credit score raised between 50 to 150 points. And I really need you to hear something. Even though 90% of Americans are buried in debt, 80% have credit challenges. When you're in a situation like this, if for some odd reason you don't have that $1,000 emergency fund, bare minimum, you should have 6 months of your total bills saved in cash. Those should all be cash. Then you should start doing your other investments like a private reserve account or land banking. But you need that to have that disposable income, just especially if you're in a situation like this for COVID. Because think about it, guys. Think about it. If you weren't prepared right now, I know you're hurting. So here's the thing. We can help you. Our services can help you plan these things and help you even afterwards get out of debt in record time. And once you've got that additional income, once your credit score is back up 50 to 150 points, And once you've eliminated your debt, guess what? You need to now start building wealth. We can help you with all those things because I'm going to tell you, I'm not ashamed to say I had cash, but I also lived off credit because my credit was good. Praise God, because I've been at a point where look, I've been at a point where my credit was so bad I couldn't get a pack of gum. I've been in the 500s, and I think I've even showed some screenshot of the increase, into the 700s. So with that being said, I want to thank you, Triple D, the diva on the
dime
disaster, for hopping on. This again is a little bit different, but guys, if you want to know what we're doing, comment, like, and share this too, because guess what? This isn't just for home-based business, but we're advising you that a home-based business can help you because of that business, I was able to access some funds I wouldn't have been able to if I didn't have a home-based business or didn't have a business.
That's right.
But also, guys, the tax benefits and just the ability when things shut down, when my regular source of income said, okay, bye-bye, I wouldn't worry. So just to have a peace of mind. If you want to know what I'm doing, just comment in the comment section information, and I'll get that to you. Any closing words there, young lady?
Something that Les Brown always says.
What's that?
Times are hard. When times get tough, as they sometimes will, and you get knocked down, if you can look up, then you can get up.
That's what Miss Mamie Brown, baby boy, said. So with that being said, guys, this is Patrick Gray, the MLM Marketing Pro. It's been a plum pleasing pleasure and a privilege. Thank you for being my accountability partners. I told you for this 90 days, I'm going to bring you value way beyond that. But I am determined to make sure that every day I get a Facebook Live, I give you my numbers, and I'm going to show you what being consistent can do for you. With that being said, have a great night. And guess what? I will see you at the top because the bottom, well, okay, is way you're pointing.
Way too crowded. See at the top because the bottom, I can't get.
Is way too crowded. With that being said, you guys have a great night. And you can reach my guest. Where do you have a website? Do you have Facebook? You have
I'm Adrienne Kennedy on Facebook, and I have my email is HOPE SLCDC. That stands for Hope South Lumberton Community Development Corporation. It's a nonprofit. At Gmail.
Okay.
HOPESLCDC@gmail.com.
So
I think our website is LumbertonHopeWordPress.com. Yeah.
Let's not
Look
think.
us up. Google us.
Okay. So if you're in those areas and you need to understand what needs to be happening, what you need to do during this hurricane season, because just like death and taxes, it's coming back.
It's coming back. It is coming. We're in the middle of hurricane. This is active hurricane season, and we got to do better. We have got to tighten up our economics and we know no longer to rob Peter and pay Paul. We are Peter. We are Paul.
All right. Pray the Lord. Hallelujah. With that being said, you guys who came late, make sure you like, comment, and share because this was valuable information during hurricane season and during any disaster. You guys have a great night because like I said, I'll see you at the top because the bottom is way too crowded.